Welcome to this week's Reset. I'm Anthony Bailey.
And I'm Rici Bell. Did you all miss us? Because we sure did miss you.
You know what? Absence makes the heart grow fonder. Hopefully
Does it?
That's how they're feeling anyway right now, because we've been on a little bit of a break.
Yeah.
But it's been good for us.
It's been good.
Unplug every once in a while.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But we're back.
We're back.
We got a great guest this week.
We do.
And I'm looking forward to kind of hearing all about her and her story.
Yes.
So let's dive in.
Yeah. So you said something about taking a break.
Yeah.
But this is a woman who I don't think she ever takes a break.
Uh-oh.
She works hard and she plays hard, and she is an amazing woman. She's going to share her story and just talk about how it has all unfolded to be what it is today. She needs no introduction, though. Dr. Deshunna Monet Ricks is here with us today on the Reset.
Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
And as we're thinking about the whole idea behind the reset, you know, like starting over emotionally and spiritually and physically, relationally, I can't think of a better guest to have today. So
I'm interested to hear this.
Yeah,
This
and when we ask the question, "Are you okay?"
Yeah, it's a big one.
She's the one to answer that.
Okay.
So yeah, so Dr. Ricks,
tell us
welcome.
about it. Welcome.
Share your
Thank
story.
you.
What's going on with you?
Thank you, everyone. Thank you for having me, Rici and Anthony.
For sure.
I am Dr. Ricks. I am a 41-year-old. Yes, I'm loving my 40s, by the way.
Me too.
40s are lit. I don't care what
too.
nobody tells you.
Absolutely.
You know, the kids
45
might
over
call
here.
you old, but 40 is lit,
Yes,
okay?
it is. It is.
I am an African-American woman, and I stand strong in that, and I am a woman of God, and so I walk in my purpose and my power, and that's what I keep with me to remind me to reset every day, right? Every day is a new day. You get to wake up and just do something new. And so part of my story that I would like to share with you all is that, you know, I didn't choose this life. This life chose me.
Right. Who else said that? Tupac? Did Tupac say that?
He
Believe
did.
me.
Taking it back there.
Yeah.
You know, when I was little and I was thinking of having big dreams and what I wanted to be when I grew up, I wanted to be a trophy wife. But that didn't happen.
Say that one more time for the people in the back of the room. What was that called again?
I wanted to be a trophy wife. You know, I just wanted to have a nice, good life, you know, really easy. But, you know, adversity and the things that I've been through made me the woman that I am today. And so for the viewers out there, if you've never heard of ACEs, that's adverse childhood experiences. And so these are things that children experience in childhood that overwhelms their ability to cope. So traumatic events such as physical, sexual, and emotional abuse, physical and emotional neglect. There's also the parent or a caregiver who has a mental illness or a substance abuse issue, domestic violence in the home, incarceration of a parent, and divorce or separation, and also the loss of a loved one. And so by the time that I was 6 years old, I had already had 6 of those ACEs.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. And what's the limit? What's the max?
So research shows if you have one ACE, then you're at risk for diabetes, high blood pressure, you know, involvement in criminal activity, you know, social ills, different cognitive deficits, and sometimes early death.
Wow.
And so the more you have, the more at risk that you can, you know, experience these things.
Wow. So you're saying by the time you were 6,
Yes.
you had already had on this scale 6 ACEs.
6 ACEs.
Wow.
Yes. And, you know, children, they don't know what to do with that.
Right.
You don't know what trauma is at the age of 6, right? And this ACEs study was done in 1999. And so I didn't get wind of the ACEs study until I was maybe about 35. So you can imagine, you know, all those years up until I was 35, having this knowledge and what trauma does to the brain and the body, right? And we don't realize that trauma really is detrimental to how you show up as a person.
Yes.
It does not allow you to be your best self. It does not allow you to think of yourself in positive ways. And so it really overwhelms your ability to function. Properly and to take care of yourself the best way that you know how, because it's very damaging and detrimental. And so going through these things when I was younger and being in the foster care system, I was in foster care from age 7 to 18, and I really felt,
Can we put a pin in that for a quick second there?
Pause. 7 to 18, Anthony.
Yeah.
Wow.
Dr. Ricks in the foster care system from the age of 7 to 18.
Without getting too deep into your business, I mean, at the 50,000 foot level, was this like a family path? Is something that just developed? Is something that happened, or something you were born into? I mean, how do you go to that spot at 7?
Yeah. Intergenerational trauma is something that is not talked about,
Not at all.
not in schools, right?
Yeah.
Or not even in the Black community, right? Because we tend to just get over stuff. Like, just get over it and sweep stuff under the rug, right? You got to keep going. You got to keep going. But trauma doesn't allow you to do that, right? You really break down. And so at age 7, the reason why me and my siblings, we were taken into foster care is because my mother, she had a drug issue. And my father, he was in prison. And so we were removed because I was physically abused in the home that I was in. But you know what? It was such a blessing because I got to be in kinship care with my paternal grandmother, and she raised 8 of us. We were all in foster care in her home. And so talking about strength.
So the family stepped in. That's great.
Talking about strength of a woman, my grandmother, she is, the matriarch of our family. She is really strong. And so she took care of her 8 grandchildren and raised us to, be children and adults of faith and to be respectful, and so, I made it.
You made it. Listen, you
like
did.
my mom made it.
That's
You
like the
did more
headline
than
of the
made
whole
it.
interview.
Hashtag I made it.
Yes, we're talking about Dr. Ricks.
Yes.
And we talk about 7 years old in foster care.
Yes.
8 kids, 7 or 8 kids, you said?
8 kids.
And this is not all the grandkids from the family. These are just the 8 that she took care of under the roof.
Yes. Right.
So holidays and weekends when everybody else dropping their kids off, you guys were in there thick.
Right.
Yes. Very thick. Very thick. That's why I only have one child. I was like, it's too many people in here.
Understandable for sure.
Wow. Yeah, you did more than just make it.
Yeah.
You did more than just make it.
Talk about thriving, talk about excelling.
Right. Yeah.
When we ask that question, are you okay? I mean, Rici hit that right on the head. I mean, the fact that you're sitting here as Dr. Ricks says, yeah, you are okay.
You are okay.
Yeah,
Yes, I am okay now. In my 20s, actually when I was a child, right, when you experience all these things, it doesn't allow you to think of yourself in positive ways.
Right.
So I felt like I was abandoned, unloved, that it was
Rejected.
my fault. Yeah.
We've talked about rejection.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And so you walk around, with a smile on your face, but really inside you're hurting. And you just want somebody to cure that pain, and you don't know what to do with it. And so, walking around, and I played basketball at Edison High School. Shout out to Edison High School.
Shout out Tigers.
And
I grew up in the Tigers neighborhood, so I'm not gonna hate.
Yeah. Please don't hate.
Please
stand
don't.
on my front yard, look across the street. And
it's always
good.
Edison
It's all
hate
good.
going around the city. It's okay. And so really in my 20s, all this trauma began to come up, and I didn't know what it was.
Wow.
I just thought I was going crazy.
Wow.
I'm like, I don't love myself. I hate myself. I was a single parent. I was working 60, 70 hours a week.
Literally.
I was going to school, getting a degree. All I knew is I wanted to be great, right?
60, 70 hours a week.
Single parent.
How much room is there really for self-care
Right.
and for self-love?
None.
Right.
Because
Right.
you're just cranking away. You're
Yeah.
in the hamster wheel a little bit.
And sometimes you have to do what you have to do to survive.
In
And
that
I was
moment.
just surviving,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
You
Yeah.
know, I was not enjoying my life. I wasn't taking time to rest. I was just in autopilot. Like, I need to do what I need to do
Right
in
now.
order to
Yep.
care for me and my son.
Yeah.
And I did that, oh my gosh, for at least, I don't know, maybe 14, 15 years, just being on autopilot and trying to find ways to sustain me and my son because it was just me and him.
Yeah.
And so, you know, I hit like a low, you know, to where I was just like, I can't take it anymore, right? Because that's what trauma does when you don't
Yes.
address it. Sometimes we think we can stuff stuff down inside,
Right.
like, oh, it'll just go away. Oh, I can forget about it.
No.
But what trauma does, it comes out.
It sure does.
It has to come out. It can't stay in your body.
sure
It's so
does.
deep. Oh
Yeah.
my God.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
we
yeah.
have talked a little bit about the whole trauma and how it rears its head and the triggers,
triggers.
of things
Yeah.
that bring it
My
back
triggers
around.
are my responsibility. Yeah.
Which was a great conversation we had a
Yeah,
while back.
yeah.
So I guess when we kind of talk about the triggers and how they relate to not so much to how to solve them, but how do you know that you're being triggered? Like, when did you start to really realize that stuff
There's
was coming
something going
back up?
on, yeah.
Yeah. I know when I'm being triggered or when I was triggered, when I was just having outspurts of anger. Like, leave me alone. Get away
Like
from me.
irritability.
Irritability, right? Fatigueness. I really didn't want to do anything. I didn't want to be around anyone.
Withdrawal.
Yes,
Yeah.
withdrawal. Your body physically changes. You get sick a lot. You can't hold things down. And so, even your breathing changes, right? So where you're breathing rapidly, and then sometimes you kind of get like paranoid, where you're always like
Looking
on
over your
alert.
shoulder.
Yeah, because that's our
Can't
brain
relax.
stem, right? Our brain stem, number one job is to protect us and keep us safe, and so. If you perceive a threat, you're always on alert, like you're watching out, and so I knew I didn't want to feel like that because it doesn't make you feel good, and you cannot operate in that.
Can't function.
All that stress, right? Stress brains cannot learn, and stress brains cannot teach. And so, even me as a
Wow.
That's good.
parent,
That's
you
good.
know,
Say
when
that
you're
one more
Wait,
time.
wait, time out,
'Cause I
time
wanna
out,
make sure
time
that
out.
Sometimes you guys just drop some gems, and Rici does this a lot because you guys live in that arena.
We live in
So
this
from
world,
the
yeah.
non-psychology background guy,
Yeah.
say that for me one more time.
Stressed brains.
stress brains cannot learn, and stress brains cannot teach.
That's a whole nother segment for our
Yeah,
education, and we
it
talked
is.
about some of the underprivileged
Absolutely.
schools and things like that.
Absolutely. Imagine
Wow.
being a 6-year-old, 7-year-old in a class, and you've just experienced chronic, not
Right.
even just like acute, like one
One
time,
time,
right?
but
But
long
in
term,
your
yes.
environment,
Over and over
there is
again. Yeah.
trauma, right? That complex, that chronic trauma that is just going around,
Yeah.
and your brain, that cortisol, which is, sometimes it's good for you, right? Because it pumps the adrenaline, but too much of it is damaging. So can you imagine just a 6-year-old,
Six-year-old
a
little body.
7-year-old, just always being on alert, not being able to
Yeah.
focus
Yeah.
and concentrate. It might look like ADHD, but it's not. It is the trauma.
It's trauma, yeah.
Right?
And if you're a teacher who is not tuned in,
Right.
unlike one of our former guests, Carlonda Wood,
Yeah,
like
we
that
love her.
woman,
Oh,
she
was
just
amazing.
She's amazing.
she is
Amazing
amazing.
teacher.
But if you're
Shout out to
if you're
Carlonda.
not tuned in to these things, you're quick to send that student to the principal's office because they're bad,
problem.
they're
Right.
misbehaving,
Yes.
their
Right.
their conduct is
Yeah.
defiant.
And let's
Right.
not even talk about the over-prescribing of certain
Medication,
drugs
Absolutely.
because of
right.
ADHD.
It's like, what if we
and
just
things like
pause
that.
long enough to talk to this child
Yeah.
to see, to
Right.
uncover what's going on in
Yes.
this little bitty 6-7-year-old body?
Right. Yeah. But, to the teachers, defense, that this trauma and ACEs and stress is not embedded into their teaching credential their program.
Wow.
And
It
so
needs to be.
it definitely
Yes.
needs to be a part of their credentialing program because they need to know, right? They need to see the signs. They need to know the triggers and
Yep.
be able to have interventions to help that child in their environment and not always send them out, because even sending them out, the child is saying, I'm not important.
Right.
You know,
I'm being rejected once again.
I don't belong here.
I don't belong. Yeah.
Which, you know, it doesn't allow you to establish significance and belonging, right? Which is what we need
Everybody.
to love ourselves.
Everybody.
Right?
Everybody
I
needs
need
it.
to know that I'm important, that I'm valuable in order to love myself. Because if I don't believe that, then I'm just going to show up however I'm going to show up.
Right.
Yeah.
So I am valuable. I know there's more to your story because you're Dr. Ricks and you obviously at some point got a whole bunch of degrees, but I am valuable. Tell us about that statement and what that means to you and what you've done with that statement.
Yeah, I am valuable is just a declaration to yourself, you know, telling yourself that you are worthy of good things, you are deserving of good things, and you're not going to allow anybody else to tell you differently, right? And you're going to walk in that, right? So it's the value, it's the worth, it's the boundaries, it's the self-respect, it's the self-acceptance, right?
The self-love.
Self-love, right? Caring for yourself. And I think I've heard Rici say soul care, right? Caring for your soul, making sure you're nurturing on yourself. And what I do is I tell my students, I teach at different colleges, I tell my students that I'm the most important person in my life. I have to be.
Oh,
I have to center myself as important so that I can give it to everybody else,
That's
right?
right.
That I am in charge of. And if I don't center myself and I don't love on myself and I don't believe that I'm most important, then I can't give it to you because I can't give what I don't have.
Right.
And so I Am Valuable came about, you know, I was sitting in my doctorate program and this was 2017 and I heard God say, write a book. And I'm like, who are you talking to?
Right. Who, me?
You know,
The one who was in foster care from 7 to 18?
Right.
Write a book?
Isn't that
yes.
something?
And in my doctorate program, I'm like, you know, I have to write this 200-page paper, right? That's a whole book, right? And so, you know, I started writing some notes down and taking some notes, and then I put it up. And then April 2018, God woke me up out of my sleep, and he said, I said, write that book. So I got up, and I started writing, and I kind of put it down, and then I started a business. And then the book came out 2020, I believe, because I know that I've been through the school system where I felt alone and I felt like I needed someone to talk to and to help me get through the things that I needed to get through. And I did have some people that did that for me. And so working in the school systems, I noticed that all children just need a mentor. Yeah. They need somebody, a caring and positive adult that they can go to in times of distress, even when they're feeling good, right? Just to check in, because we don't have that in our school systems. And so I started I Am Valuable for all children so that they can know that they can walk in their purpose and their power and they can stand in their identity and tell people, no, I am somebody.
That's right.
Okay,
Right?
Tell us this real quick
That's
for folks that are like me at home that are watching this.
Good.
I Am Valuable. So this is a community program. What exactly is it at its core?
Yeah.
What is the I Am Valuable itself?
Besides the declaration and the book.
Yes. Okay. So I Am Valuable right now. It is a nonprofit. It's a nonprofit that I run, and Lord Jesus, I'm waiting on my 501c3 to be officially approved sometime next month.
Yeah.
But I'm still a nonprofit. And so I Am Valuable has right now 2 components. It has a mentoring program for students in grades K through 12. And so I have interns, counseling and social work interns that provide crisis intervention, one-on-one counseling, group counseling to students in Fresno Unified. And then I teach a 30-week parenting class. And so this parenting class this last session, this last cohort, we went through and we took a journey through healing from childhood trauma.
Can we pause for a quick second?
Right.
How did you get parents to go for 30
weeks.
hours? 30 weeks?
30 weeks.
30
How did you get them to do that, period?
What's the incentive?
Yeah.
Yes, the incentive is their own healing. There's no gimmicks. There is no promises.
Really?
The parents, they showed up, and some of these parents, their children have been in the mentoring program.
Folks, I want people at home let this sit in for a minute. There's only
Right.
52 weeks in a year.
Right. Come
As
on.
a weather guy, my numbers, crunch in my head, 365 days, 52 weeks, 5 days in a week. And you got for 30 weeks, you got parents to come either
show up.
log in or to show up to be part of your course. What was it that they were searching for?
They're searching for themselves, right? To reinvent themselves, to reparent themselves,
reset.
right?
A reset.
A reset.
Yeah.
So they can become healthy and whole,
Right.
not just for themselves, but for their households and the individuals that they impact.
And
right?
so their children, many of their children were in the mentoring program, and while they're in the mentoring program, the parents are also being fed and being poured
Absolutely.
into and invested.
Absolutely. And my
That's
parents,
huge.
they asked me for this.
Yeah.
Right? And so, and right now, because we're on a break, some of my parents are like, what am I going to do?
What am I doing? Yeah.
What am I going to do for the next couple of Mondays,
Because they've
right?
allocated that time.
Absolutely.
And do they come to the campus or do they log in or how does this work?
Yes, it's on Zoom,
Okay.
mainly on Zoom every Monday. We start back September 8th, and, the information would be on my
Go ahead and give us the website, 'cause we'll put it up
pages.
on the ground.
The website is iam-valuable.com, and then my Instagram is Miss Lovely Doctor, and my Facebook is Deshunna Monet Ricks. And so you can find that information there. But my parents, they want it, right? They show up Monday after Monday. And they go through there are some hard
yeah.
things that they
Yes.
have to face, right?
Yes.
Because when you have experienced trauma, either as a child or as an adult, you have to hold up the mirror in
That's
your
right.
face,
That's
right?
right.
And you have to really admit some things about yourself, some things that you have done, right? That have been unhealthy, that you have engaged in, and you have to forgive people, right? For harming you,
Yes.
right? And that is hard
That
to
is
do.
hard. Yes.
It is very hard to say,
Some
you know
families
what, I
keep grudges
forgive
for
you.
some decades.
Right.
And a few lifetimes, somebody
Right.
die and they're on a
Right.
deathbed,
Exactly.
finally, apologizing for things
Yeah,
that they
no,
did.
you're right.
That's-
You're right. You're right.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Yeah.
So that's the program. That's the mentoring program. It's the parenting classes. It's the book. It's the declaration. Take us back to, with the time that we have left, take us back to Deshunna becoming Dr. Ricks.
Oh yeah.
And how did self-love sort of infuse itself all throughout that journey?
Yeah, Deshunna becoming Dr. Ricks. I told y'all again, I didn't want to be a doctor. I wanted to be a trophy wife.
Right.
You
Shout
know,
out to Andy Cohen and the Real Housewives franchise for planting that seed in women all over America. I know a few.
Oh my goodness.
Yes.
and so, again, God purposed me to really experience these things in childhood, right? So that I would be able to help others heal from trauma. And I understand that. I understand the assignment, right?
Yes.
And I walk daily in that.
Yeah.
And I love what I get to do. So becoming, Dr. Ricks, going from Deshunna to Dr. Ricks, it was really, God saying, this is the life that I have for you. Are you going to say yes? Right? And kicking and screaming. I'm like, I don't want to get a doctorate. I don't want to do it. But I knew that if I didn't, then, people that needed to heal and
That's
needed to
right.
hear my story would not be able to overcome
Right.
their story as well. And everybody has a story, very powerful, right? And somebody needs to hear it. And so even, Rici telling us somebody needs to hear your story in order to heal. And so I always take that with me and I stand in my truth,
Right.
things that I've done, getting from Deshunna to Dr. Ricks, they were not healthy, right? But, you know, it's part of my journey.
Part
it
of
is
your story.
part of
Yep.
my story.
Yep.
And along the way, making mistakes and failing and doing things that were not, not really represent me well, learning like, okay, I can't do that.
Right.
That is not self-love. That is self-betrayal.
Right. Yeah.
And now my mantra is I will not engage in self-betrayal because I love myself too much in order to do that. Right?
Too much.
And I don't allow others to betray me because I love myself enough to too much to allow you to do that.
You and Rici are definitely friends.
Right.
She was in that vein a couple of weeks ago.
Listen.
Yeah.
Wow.
And so self-love is something that you have to do daily, right? It is a daily intentional act that you have to do in order to say, you know what? I am worthy of good things. I am deserving of good things. I'm going to take care of myself, not just physically, but mentally emotionally, and spiritually, right?
Relationally, financially, all the above.
All of the above. And everybody has goals. Everybody has dreams. You cannot accomplish your goals and dreams without self-love.
That's good.
You cannot, you know, be your best self without self-love.
That's
and
good.
so the more that you practice it daily, the more that it is going to show up and you're just going to walk in your purpose and your power. And I believe that's what everybody wants to do, walk in their purpose and their power and achieve their goals and their dreams. So that's what I encourage you to do, you know.
So good.
This has been a great half hour. I have thoroughly enjoyed
Absolutely.
When we kicked this whole thing off, I mean, it was really about people being self-introspective about what's going on with them.
That's right.
And figuring out if they knew that they were in a good place.
Right.
And so you really hit on a
lot of topics today. I'm so excited. And for those of you who are listening and watching, maybe your goal is not to get a doctorate. Maybe your goal is to overcome trauma. Maybe your goal is to be more self-aware. Maybe your goal is to learn how to love yourself and be good by yourself, for yourself. Whatever your goal is, we want to encourage you to lean in. Like, don't run away from those hard times. Don't run away from those. Like, lean into those hard times. I look at myself in the mirror every morning and I say, Rici, you're a good woman and you deserve good things. And so if I can't find it, I create it myself.
Smart.
Okay?
Move. Yeah.
So figure out whatever your mantra is. For Dr. Ricks, it's I am valuable. For me, it's I'm a good woman and I deserve good things. Anthony's maybe something else. Whatever it is, figure it out, lean in, and at the end of the day, we just want to know, are you okay?